Morning. I've just sketched this rough mountain scene here, coming down to a pass through here, or might even be a stream, and a lot of foreground, and I can put in some rocks just to give some shape and bits of interest. Very little in that area, that's just distance. So I'll wet the paper. Now my departure this morning, or for this one, is this large butcher's tray, twice the size of the other one, and I've squeezed out some fresh bits of paint on it. There's some dry paint on it, but I'm going to try to use colour straight out of the tube to show you how quickly you can get a lot of saturating colour. Now I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to use the same approach. I'm going to wet all over. Now the paints I'm using are Cotman 21ml tubes. Cotman is a student quality of Winsor & Newton, and because it's relatively inexpensive as paints go, we're not so bothered about being stingy with it. That was the whole point of Rob Ransom showing us, working out this method over 30 years ago, with the brush, the butcher's tray, and the colours, the lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, and I've added my favourite colour, burnt sienna. So the burnt sienna is not too dissimilar from the light red, but light red and the alizarin are iron oxides and they're very, very saturated. Right, so having done that, I'll just put in some nice warm sienna, raw sienna, just here and there, all over. And while that's spreading and doing its bit, we'll add in some bit of Usher. And then we'll add some other little bits of colour in there. We'll add a little bit of alizarin, not a lot, just a touch. And then I'll go in with some cloud colour. That I'll use a bit of light red and a bit of ultra. I will make it a bit darker than that. And we'll have weaker mix of that just coming down into that. Mountain there, that's just a little bit not very good. So I'll get that darker on the top of that. Right, I'll reclip the paper and then we'll go straight in with some mountain colours, similar to above, but perhaps a bit bluer. Get the background in first, so we'll darker, I think, just a darker blue, and I will add some green into that. Just mix some sienna. Okay, that'll do. Now I'm going to go in with the harder colours here, so same as the cloud. I'm just going to mix some warmer bits of colour in there. Bit of cyan, burnt umber in there, I think, with that blue. And I will add colour into this as I go. Remember, I'm going to scrape out some of this, so you want some nice rich greens coming across up there, and we've got the pass. Oops. Now in there I want some nice dark, because this is where I'm going to put some rocks as well, but I want this as the foreground, so neat blue, and I will attempt to scrape out some reds and so I'm using the colour now as like a thick gouache. Now I want the dark edge there. Oops. Right, okay. I'll do a bit on the other side. And I want a nice, really dark blue there. So mix in some warmer colour. It's quite exciting at the moment if it all goes wrong. Right, get some colour in there. Don't want too much of that white showing, but I want some sparkle. Now this is, I'm going to do a bit of lifting out of this in a minute to get some texture in this. Okay, right, very experimental. This is even beyond what I've ever done before. Let's put some here. Right. Don't want too much in this area here, this is more distant, but this is where right, I think I can safely give that a dry. Sky is going to be very streaky. Right, take your headphones off. I think we can use the wide brush. No, I'll use this 1/2 inch flat, and with a bit of red, bit of blue, bit of grey, bit of yellow. I'll just put in some dark. And then scrape out. Dry. I might put a darker cloud over that, but that's really dry. Now I want to put in some of this colour in the some blue really in the stream, bit of alizarin maybe, just a bit of colour. I don't want a lot. Right, so sky, a bit of a cloud colour. So we use the red and the blue. That's the light red and the ultramarine. Fairly dry brush. I just I'm using it a bit too thick, I think, and it's the hairs of the brush are splitting. I need to make sure your brush is together. A bit darker. Right, well I'm not convinced about the sky. I think it's gone badly wrong. Not my usual sky. I'll just come over this a bit. Just thicken that up a little bit. Now I'm going to dry the sky. And I'm going to try to lift out some of that colour with a bit of tissue, toilet paper. Let's see what happens. Just a bit heavy now. before I completely wreck it. Just I'm not going to be able to improve that. If it doesn't work, I'll still publish it, but I'll probably go over it with acrylic next and make an acrylic of it. It's very similar. Right, let's get a rigger. Let's do a bit of rigger work here. Just a little bit of texture. And maybe let's try a figure. I'll use a smaller brush. I'm finding the rigger just a bit too clumsy for my figures. I'll use that. Right, if I put him standing on a sort of rock, I don't know if I. Just a bit of shadow or reflection of these. No, there wouldn't be much of a reflection there, would there? He's because the water's moving, or supposed to be moving. I don't know, how can I show the dry brush there? Right, I'll sign it, put it in a mound, have a look at it, see what we've done. Right. Disaster or no, let's put that on there. Turn that off. And see. Highly experimental from my part. Oh, there we are. That's a bit of a mess. I quite like some of this. It's got perspective, but that's about all. This just went wrong. It was too streaky. I think my brush, I was trying to be too clever with the thick paint and being sort of a damp brush, the bristles clumped together. Though that doesn't too bad. Lifting out, well that's okay, more or less. See what you think. It's quite a dramatic picture, isn't it? If I'm looking on the screen. Let's go zooming. a little figure. It gives scale to the landscape. They're my rocks. The tumbling stream. So we've got Welsh Mountains. It's inspired by a painting by Edward Wesson, but looks nothing like what he did, of course. I just used the idea, but it could be anywhere. Lake District, Scotland, even, well, you can decide. I made it up, but based on a lot of experience. So maybe I won't paint over it. I think I'll keep it. I hope those mountains look nice and distant. I don't really want to put anything more in there. This was what I like, getting my teeth into that. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.